Well, I finally have it. And it's taken me this long, and it's not for lack of anything else besides the fact that I just never got around to buying it. And so I was told it was going to be discontinued. So the last time we went to Lego dinner on Friday, I decided to, well, we always stop by Sherway, the Lego store at Sherway, and buy something from the Lego store. Usually I just fill up a pick a brick cup, which I did, and I don't know where I put it. Somewhere in this room that I have to clean up. So, but I also, Sandy remembered me talking about it, and so she put it in my hands when we were there. It's something I wanted. I heard the pre-release, I wanted it. I just never got around to getting it, and that's 100% on me. Here's the thing: I didn't build it. Josh did. I'm not saying my color blindness would have been an issue with this, because I can tell. I couldn't name the colors, but I could tell all the colors apart here. I think that's pink. The original colors: black, red, yellow, blue, and white. I can tell, but the brown, orange, green, I'm gonna say purple. I'm gonna say purple. Light blue, I did, and pink. I'm also not going to do, and I really do appreciate the people who have done it, but they made this set with classic Space Guys, which I think is totally fantastic, absolutely extraordinary, but I ain't doing it. I'm just not going to bother. It's been done. Nobody needs to see me do it. Since I didn't build it, I can't tell you too much about the build. I flipped through the instructions. It's pretty much a 16 by 16 and a 6 by 16. And then the pieces on the back. I'm sure there's something. Yeah, there's something inside that holds them all together. But I love it, and I'm glad the Lego company did it. And I had no reservations. I believe the Lego company from the beginning, from the get-go, from overall. They have made their mistakes over the years, but they've always, for me, been inclusive. They never tried to exclude people. They've always tried to include people, and they may have made some missteps over the years. But overall, I think as quote-unquote society evolved, the Lego company evolved right with them. I remember being a kid, and the commercials on TV in the 70s, quote-unquote, were trying to include girls in Lego building, and the advertisements showed girls building Lego as easily as boys. And I'll tell you something, my sister and I, there was no patriarchy in our Lego building when we were kids. The Lego was shared equally amongst us kids and our friends who came over, and there was never, oh, that's a boy's toy, versus, oh, the girls shouldn't play with it. Never got that when I was a kid. All my cousins, whether boys or girls, played with Lego with us. And even when I moved out with my friends, we rented a house for a couple of years, and my Lego collection, of course, came with me. And after church, and we're all in our Sunday best, we are playing with Lego. It wasn't just the boys playing with Lego; it was all of us playing with Lego. My Lego collection at the time. So I never ever segregated. I never thought that the Legos talked about that earlier. The Legos were just specifically boy appropriate. It never even dawned on me until I got online, and then the debate started, and this happened a lot in my life and so many other subjects, where I didn't even realize there was a controversy. I didn't even. This is who I am. Overall, I've said it before, and I'll say it again without ambiguity, with absolute reason and conviction. I am Captain Oblivious to many things that I just don't give a rip about, because I don't need to worry about it if I'm oblivious to it. So I never ever thought it was a boy's toy. I just thought it was, and even when I was a kid, I didn't think it was a kid's toy either, by the way. And I've talked about that extensively. I never ever relegated Lego bricks to be a kid's toy. And I remember my cousin George, again, I talked about him a few times now. He's very, quote unquote, much older than I am. But I played with his Lego collection, which was from the 60s. So again, just white and red basic brick and a couple 1x1 round bricks that didn't even have the groove in the bottom. That's how old this collection was. And the white 2x4 wheel bricks and all the other stuff, the gray tires. That's from his collection. And the original 10x20 base plates and the 10x10 base plates. But when he came over to quote unquote babysit us, because he babysit us a few times, he'd be right there playing, and he'd be like close to adulthood. For me, he was an adult, and he would play with us, and and we'd be building stuff, and he's a great builder, and he inspired me. And again, I never put it away. I said that. I've never been without 1 month of playing with Lego my entire life. So I don't believe, I mean, whoops, here's me knocking the camera. You can believe it's a kid's toy, and that's perfectly acceptable for you. I don't believe it's a kid's toy. I'm looking at what the adults are doing at conventions and stuff like that. And I'm looking at what, I keep on doing that. I look at what other people are doing with Lego. And so I've always felt it was an inclusive, very inclusive hobby that you can put away, you can put aside your differences and just build and have fun doing it. And I've believed that my entire life. So when the Lego company was coming out with the set, I was all 100% support of it, for what it signifies, what it's meant to do. I mean, it is quote unquote pretty basic for a build. There's nothing extraordinary about this build at all that I can see, except for what it represents. And they said it right in the front cover, and it says, everyone is awesome. It's called the Everyone is Awesome set, by the way, as you can see right there. Everyone is awesome. And this is from Matthew Ashton, the Vice President of Design, the Lego Group. I wanted to create a model that is a symbol of inclusivity that celebrates everyone, no matter how they identify or who they love. Everyone is unique, and with a little more love, acceptance, and understanding in the world, we can all feel free to be our true awesome selves. This model is to show that we care and we truly believe everyone is awesome. We hope you'll build this model and display it with pride. It is a celebration of love, a celebration of you. And it's absolutely fantastic. I think the sentiment is fantastic. The set is, again, even in its quote-unquote plainness, it's absolutely fantastic. And I'm just looking at it now. I'm looking at it right now. And again, all the minifigs have different styles of hair and different needs. And the colors are all different. If this symbolize our differences, and yet how much if we appreciate one another, how much fun we could have. Like, my entire life with Lego has been fun. There hasn't been one time in my entire life with others and Lego collections that hasn't been fun, no matter who they are, no matter what walk of life they come from, no matter what they believe in. I've never had a problem with it. There was one time, I won't go into that. There was one time at one show when a guy walked up to me and he was offended. He seemed to be offended that I had women minifig space astronauts and my space guys, space girls, and my layout. And he said women shouldn't be in space. Yeah, whatever, dude. But that's like when I'm with friends, no matter where they're coming from, I've never had an issue, and we've always had fun. So I am extremely happy I have this set now. I'm going to keep it together. I'm going to display it in my Lego room, and it's going to stay together. I really, really enjoy the various minifigures and the various colors. I know that completely tangent on that specific note, that back in the day on LugNet, people were trying to acquire, when the Lego company started producing minifigs in alternate colors than the 5 basic colors, which was the black, white, like the torsos and the legs, black, white, red, blue, and yellow. And people started trying to make monochrome minifigs. The original 5 colors, pretty easy to make a monochrome minifig, except for the actual face bricks, because back then all the face bricks were yellow. All of them were yellow. And it wasn't until I think the basketball series when they started making different colors for the actual, and then Harry Potter, because the original Harry Potter sets, they're all the yellow minifig faces that we always knew and loved. And then they started coming up with the flesh tones, and then they started coming with black, and then all the other colors for minifig heads. And so people are always trying to make monochrome sets in specific colors to see if they could. So this helps, obviously. This is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, 11 colors. And again, black, red, yellow, blue, and white are the basic original colors from my childhood. Brown, well, this is new brown, but brown showed up, pirates-ish. Orange showed up, space-ish, but in town, orange started showing up. This color green, that's not the regular green. It's a kind of a lighter green, I think. I don't think I have any green pieces near me right now. But it looks like it's a shade lighter than my regular green pieces. Purple didn't start showing up until well after the fact. And this light blue is relative, in the grand scheme of things, relatively new. This pink is pretty old, as far as I understand. I think homemakers had some pink sets, pink pieces. I've had very, very few pink pieces until the last 20 years, and then all of a sudden I have an explosion of pink pieces in various shades of pink. So if you want minifig torsos and faces, head bricks in various colors, this is a perfect set to get. The rest of the basic pieces, it has these little curved pieces here, 1x3s, or 2x3s, and 1x2s, blah, 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 tiles. Not a lot of unique pieces here, just a lot of unique colors. I don't want to keep on gushing about it. I've always been a proponent of accepting people for who they are, as long as they're not harming anybody else, and live and let live. And I've had some friends who are in the LGBT community well before that was even coined as a phrase back in college, but they were too scared to come out of the closet because of the 80s. They're out of the closet now, which is fantastic, and they're living the life they want to live. They're living their lives, and I want the best for them. I want them to be able to be comfortable in their own skin. I want them to be comfortable with their life and their daily, moving around in the world. And I don't want them to feel like, they have to walk in eggshells, or, you can't be who they are with other people around. Because that always bothered me, because I've always been my own self. As my parents kept on saying, I marched my own drummer all the time. I've always been my own self my entire life. And even when other people had a problem with it, I just didn't care. But again, people who had a problem with my lifestyle, which is me just doing whatever I wanted, playing with Lego at 25, 30, whatever, that's not a big thing. That's not going to get me beat up. That's not going to get me, killed. That's not going to get me. There's nobody writing laws to persecute me building with Lego at the age of 55. Right now, they're writing legislation throughout the world in some neighbors to the south to stop or to curtail the gains that the LGBTQ communities received or gotten over the last bunch of years, and they're trying to roll that back now, and it's disheartening. It really is disheartening, because honest to goodness, I have as yet to meet a queer person or a trans person or a gay person, or any of them, that has been a negative experience in my life. And yet they're being raked over the coals by people who have some sort of idea in their head that these people are bad, and it just and yet, I'm not going to go off on that tangent. I'm just going to get more political than I want to get to right now. Needless to say, I'm glad the Lego company is supportive of my friends and the community, that where people can be themselves. And again, I've always made the proviso for me that I have no problem with what anybody does with their life, as long as it's not a negative impact on anybody else. And I have as yet to meet anybody that this set represents that has been a negative detriment to other people. So I admire the Lego company for doing it. I support the Lego company for doing it. I appreciate deeply that the Lego company did it. And I love the set. And as I said, it's going to sit on my shelf. The review, really quick review, 18 plus, 346 pieces. The end. The review, I talked about some of the things in it. This is not a set review. This is my appreciation of the company for doing it in the first place. That's it. That's all. Nice, quick, short, 15 minutes. One of my shortest videos. I say this with all sincerity. Everybody out there, take care of yourselves. Put yourself first. If you put yourself first, you'll have the energy and the wherewithal to help others. If you think of yourself last, you will burn yourself out and you will not be able to help others at all. So always think of yourself, and then when you are in a position of the ability to, the position where you can help others, that's perfect. There's a better way of phrasing that, but I constantly use the example when they give you, when you're flying in a jet, where if the face masks drop down from the ceiling, you put yours on first before you try to help somebody else, because you will, put yourself at risk and that person that you're trying to help at risk if you don't put yours on first, because you have a huge chance of getting knocked out, and then you're not helping anybody. Then you're a detriment. And that's what I always say: take a moment to think of yourself, to take a moment to think about what you need in your own life in order to have a proper foundation and ability to help others. I believe, and not to go off on this tangent, but I believe that's something my mom missed for all those years, to take care of herself first, because she never ever she always put everybody else's needs in front of her own. And I think in the end, that's was a detriment to her life, even though she was a fine, upstanding person in the universe. She could have, quote unquote, done more for others had she taken herself into consideration, and her and what she needed to get up the next morning. And she didn't, and that's the sad part. She never put herself first, ever. And I say, in the end, she had a life that people admire, and even to this day, I'll get emails and stuff. Oh, your mom was, my cub leader, or did this or did that, 30, 40, 100 years ago. And they say, oh, she was inspiration. Yeah, she was a huge inspiration, and she inspired me, and I know she inspired generations of kids, and was there for generations of kids. But my personal belief is she would still be here if she put herself first. And again, I don't dwell on it, because life happens, and she lived the way she wanted to live. But again, I just watching her all those years, she never ever thought about herself first. And I think that in the end is a detriment to what you need to do with your life. Anyway, I didn't want to go off on that tangent right now. As I said, I have friends in the communities that this set represents. I feel for them. I sometimes, actually many times, especially now in this environment, I worry about them and what's going on in the world, and that they do not feel the support and love that they should have. And so I think this set is a good representation of something that we all can aspire to, that there are people out there that want to live the way they want to live. And I absolutely support that. And so that's it. I'm going to go now. Everybody out there, stay safe, take care, and long and prosper. I'll talk to you soon.